I'm going to read the topic diffusion. Page number 6. It's in your left hand side. The last topic, diffusion. Soil, water and minerals move into the root hair cell by the simple process of diffusion. In daytime, carbon dioxide diffuses from the atmosphere into the leaf cells and oxygen diffuses out from the leaf cells into the atmosphere during photosynthesis. This movement of molecules, gas, liquid or solid, from higher concentration to lower concentration is called diffusion. So we have already learned what is diffusion. It is the movement of molecules. Okay. So we studied diffusion and osmosis, but there's a difference between two. In diffusion, there's a movement of molecule from higher concentration to lower concentration, right? And then in osmosis, the process is same. The movements of molecules from higher concentration to lower concentration, but through a membrane. Which is that membrane? Through a semi-permeable membrane. Right. So in osmosis, a semi-permeable membrane is required. Okay. But in diffusion, it is not required. It is only the movement of molecules from a higher concentration to a lower concentration. Now we will look into osmosis. It is the movement of water molecules from its region of higher concentration through a semi-permeable membrane to a region of lower concentration. As I told you, it is the movement of molecules from a higher concentration to a lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. A semi-permeable membrane is used in osmosis. So we can take an example of osmosis. I told you an example of potato experiment that we do in higher classes. So if we put some solution inside a potato, if we dig a potato, okay, if we make a pit on it, okay, and then if we put some solution, and then we put some water and in a watch glass or in a container, and if we place that potato inside that water will eventually be absorbed by the potato. Okay, so the water is absorbed by the potato and the concentration which was higher outside, this water gets inside the potato and the inside concentration increases. The potato's concentration, the concentration of water inside the potato increases. Why? Because potato contains a thin wall. Okay, it has a thin wall. So this thin wall has some pores on it. These pores absorb these water molecules from outside, from that container. And eventually the water inside the potato becomes greater as compared to the outside one. Do you get my point, what I'm trying to say? Everyone, can I get a yes if you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Fine. So this was just an example. Okay, it was just an example to show the process of osmosis. It will not come in your exam. It's for your knowledge purpose. It's an extra knowledge, so it will not come in your exam. It's just for understanding purpose. So osmosis, you need to know what is osmosis. The movement of molecules from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane, right? Now, third one is active transport. The root hairs absorb both water and minerals from the soil. Water enters the root hair cell by osmosis because concentration of water molecules is higher in the soil than inside in the root hairs. But in case of minerals, they are more in concentration inside the root hairs than in the soil. These minerals have to be absorbed from a level of lower concentration, that is from soil, to a level of higher concentration, that is cell. This movement of molecules from their lower concentration to a higher concentration requires energy and is called active transport. Now we have known what is diffusion. Okay, movement of molecules from higher concentration to lower concentration is diffusion. So this movement from higher concentration to lower concentration, or from a lower concentration to higher concentration, this requires energy. But if we compare both, from higher concentration to lower concentration, less energy is required, right? Because it's a slope, okay, from higher to lower. It requires less energy. But if you see the molecules which are going from a lesser concentration to a higher concentration, it will require more energy. For example, if we take ourselves an example, if we are trying to climb a hill, right? The hill is on the upper side, okay? It's a slope and we have to reach the top. So from the bottom we are starting, we are trying to reach the top of the hill. So we are requiring some energy to reach the top, right? We require some energy. Without energy, we will not be able to reach at the top of that hill. Okay, this is an example for you for better understanding. So similarly, like a human being, if he or she wants to reach the top of a hill, that particular person requires some amount of energy. Similarly, these molecules, the water molecules, if they are in the lower concentration, they require some energy to reach the higher concentration. And this energy process, when this energy is required in the process of transportation, that is known as active transport, right? So active transport is what? The process, the movement of molecules in which energy is required, right? Then we'll discuss the next topic is ascent of sap. So till now, if anyone has doubt, they can ask me. Any doubts? If no, you can say a no.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Fine.
No,
So
ma'am.
in your, yes, in your book, it's a very easy language given, very easy language is there. So it is understood by the language itself that was what is the process. Okay, it does not need much understanding or much explanation. But then also, I just tried to explain you the difference between diffusion and osmosis, and also what is required in active transport. What is required? Energy is required. So due to the requirement of energy, this transport of water molecules is known as active transport. Now, we will look what is ascent of sap. The water is absorbed by the root hairs from the surrounding soil by osmosis. It then moves into the inner cells of root by cell-to-cell diffusion and osmosis to reach the central xylem, which continues upwards into the stem and the leaves. This upward movement of water and minerals called sap is called ascent of sap. So ascent of sap is nothing but the upward movement of water molecules, right? These water molecules which are absorbed, they need to get into the xylem of phloem for further transports, right? What does xylem do? Xylem do the transport of water and minerals. Okay, so these water molecules, they require some energy, which is active transport. Then these water molecules move upwards. Okay, take the water molecules and minerals to the upward side. This upward direction, or this what we can say, this upward direction, or the ascent means this upward direction of the sap is nothing but the cell content. The content of the cell is known as sap. So the upward direction of the sap is known as ascent of sap, that is increase or the upward direction. So this is known as ascent of sap. So here's a diagram given movement of water along with minerals in a plant. The root hair is labeled there. Minerals are there. Water and minerals entering into the root hair. This is the direction shown that from the root tip, water is absorbed from the soil. Okay. Along with water, minerals are also absorbed. And then this water molecules go inside the plant body, reach the xylem. As we have told earlier, xylem do the transport of water and minerals. So everything is done through the xylem. Okay. The other parts will get these water and minerals through the xylem. So here's in this diagram, the direction is shown. You can give a look to it. Now we will look into root pressure. Okay, you have understood this much. What is diffusion? What is osmosis? What is active transport? These are all same. These are all what? The transport of water molecules from higher concentration to a lower concentration. Okay, no doubt. But I told you there's a difference between osmosis and diffusion. Osmosis needs a semi-permeable membrane. And active transport, sometimes the water molecules need to go from lower concentration to a concentration where the level is higher. So they require energy. So when energy is required, the process is known as active transport. And then ascent of sap. What is ascent of sap? The movement, the upward movement of the cell content. Okay, the sap is nothing but the cell content. The upward movement of cell content is known as ascent of sap. You can underline what I am saying. What I am saying is in your book, in the last line it is written, this upward movement of water and minerals called sap is called ascent of sap. You can underline that. This will come in your exam, maybe in 1 mark or 2 mark, maybe in 1 mark. Yeah, this is the 1 mark question. What is ascent of sap? So you have to write this much. Now we'll look what is root pressure. It is the pressure developed in the root due to the continuous inflow of water because of cell-to-cell osmosis. As a result of this pressure, water enters the xylem vessels and helps in pushing the plant sap upwards. Thus, root pressure is one of the forces which contributes to the ascent of sap through the stem into the leaves up to a certain height. We can underline the last line. Thus, root pressure is one of the forces which contributes to the ascent of sap through the stem into the leaves up to a certain height. So what is the root pressure? Root pressure is nothing but the water, okay, the water inside the soil, which is pushing the roots. The roots are pressed by these water molecules inside the soil, and these roots are pushed by these water molecules. The water is more, right? So these roots are pushed. For example, if we take ourselves, if we take a bath in a river, the river flow is higher. Okay, we see the river flow is very increased in nature. It's very high. We cannot control ourselves in a river, in a flowing river, right? So that water presses us. Okay, presses inside or presses inward or backward. Okay, forward or backward. So that press, these roots when inside the soil, the water molecules inside the soil, they press these roots. Then eventually the sap, the cell content, this goes upwards. Due to this pressure, the sap is moving upwards. So eventually this root pressure is helping the sap to move upwards to a certain height of the plant. Understood? Root pressure is nothing but the pressure which is exerted on the roots when they are inside the soil. Okay? Yes, Niyati? You understood the point?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So I hope everyone understood this. The root pressure is nothing but the pressure exerted on the roots by the soil. The water molecules present inside the soil, they exert a pressure on the roots. And so eventually this pressure helps the sap to go into a certain height, to reach a certain height inside the plant body. Right? So this is all about the processes or the type of transport in a plant body, like diffusion, osmosis, active transport, ascent of sap, root pressure. These all are showing a type of transport, right? So this root pressure is helping this this sap to move upward, and the upward movement of sap is known as ascent of sap, right? So all these are connected with the transport of water and minerals. Now, the next topic is transpiration. Yes, it's on page number 7, transpiration. You have learned that plants continuously absorb water through their roots. This water is distributed through the stem to all parts of the plant, including the leaves. Only a little amount of water is either retained in the plant or utilized by it during photosynthesis. The rest of it gets evaporated during the atmosphere as water vapor through the stomata present inside the epidermis of the leaves by a process called transpiration. So what you understand from this is, what is transpiration? You all know that plants require water and minerals, right? For what? To prepare their food. Now these water and minerals, the soil contains much water. So these plants, they absorb the water molecules inside them, but they need this water up to a certain level. They need not need the whole amount of water which is present inside the soil, right? For example, you can see in your home, you have plants, right? You have plants at your home. So you can see if we water the plants in a more quantity, like if we put more water in them, if we give them more water, the plants will eventually, what will happen? They will start decaying. Okay, they require some amount of water to function effectively or to prepare food. But if the water amount is more, they start decaying. Okay, so this transpiration is the process by which these water molecules, the water inside this plant body, is evaporated in the form of water vapor, right? Water vapor from the aerial parts of the plant are evaporated out. Okay, they are transpired out. So what does transpiration means? Sometimes the plants, they take up excess amount of water inside them, and this excess amount has to be removed, right? So this removal, this process of removal or the evaporation of these water molecules in the form of water vapor is known as transpiration. Now a question arises, from where does this water gets evaporated? It gets evaporated through the small pores present inside the leaves, right? Not only the leaves, but the stem also helps in evaporation, but mainly it is done through leaves. Small pores, which are known as stomata, they are present inside it. And these stomata, these small pores, tiny pores, helps in the process of evaporation of water, right? So it is written here in this green box, it is written, transpiration is the loss of water in the form of water vapor from the aerial parts of the plant. You know what are aerial what are aerial parts? These are the leaves, the stem, that is the uppermost parts, right? So this water loss from the aerial parts of the plant in the form of what? In the form of water vapor. They move out in the form of water vapor. Okay, in the form of vapors they move out, and this process is known as what? This process is known as transpiration, right? So can anyone define what is transpiration in a very simple way? It's in your book. You can make your own language. You can define it in your own language. If anyone could, it will be great. Do you all understand what I'm trying to say? My point, are you understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
So Niyati, can you tell me what is transpiration? Can you define it in simple manner? What is transpiration? You have the definition in the book, so you can refer the definition in the book also. You can make the definition in your own language also. You have already known what is transpiration. So I'll make a definition in my own language. Okay, I'll make a definition. Transpiration is the process of water vapors, the evaporation of water vapors from the aerial parts of the plant body. Okay, this could be one definition. Another definition is in your book. Transpiration is the loss of water in the form of water vapor from the aerial parts of a plant. Okay, all the definitions are same. Okay, some words are interchanged. Okay, interchanged or exchanged with other words. This is very simple to learn, very easy. The loss of water or the evaporation of water vapors inside from the plant body is known as transpiration. Okay, from the aerial parts. So you need to understand this much. What is transpiration? Underline loss of water in the form of water vapor from the aerial parts. That's it. Nothing else. Loss of water from the water vapor, in the form of water vapor from the aerial parts is known as transpiration. Very easy. As a result of transpiration, a suction force is created in the xylem vessel. This force causes the water to be pulled up from the xylem in the roots to the stem and then to the leaves. This pulling force is called the transpiration pull. Now, when these water molecule is transpired or is evaporated out, they cause a force inside the xylem vessel. In the xylem vessel, a force is caused when these water molecules move outside. Like imagine this is a leaf, my hand, this is a leaf. Okay, from these, there are pores in the leaf. So from the ends, when water is evaporated out or when it is pulled out, there is a force created. Like when it's pulled out, like if someone pulls my hand like this, so a force will be created in my hand. Okay, a force will be created here. So when these water molecules are pulled out or evaporated out, a force is created in my hand, right? So this force, when this force creates a suction force, an energetic force in the xylem vessel. This force causes the water to be pulled up. Okay, this force causes the water to be pulled up to different parts of the body, that is to the upward direction. This force helps the water molecules to move into the upward direction. They pull the water molecules. This force is known as, or this pulling force is known as, the transpirational pull. Underline this much. As a result of transpiration, a suction force is created in the xylem vessel. This force causes the water to be pulled up from the xylem in the roots to the stem and then to the leaves. From the roots, the water is pulled to the stem, then to the leaves. This pulling force is called transpirational pull. Underline this. This will come in 1 mark. This is very important in tall trees where an upward conduction of water takes place up to a height of 100 meters or more. So, if we consider a small plant or a big plant, the big plants need more conduction. So, this is applicable more in big plants or trees where the conduction is more, okay, up to a height of 100 meters or more. It is written here. So, in big plants, it is more applicable. This transpirational pull is more applicable in big plants or trees, we can say. Xylem tissues are in the form of capillary tubes where narrower the diameter, greater is the force of movement of water molecules upwards. Whenever the xylem vessels lie empty, such as during the loss of water by transpiration, the water from below rises into them by a capillary force. Water molecules are pulled up due to their tendency of remaining joined together, cohesion, and stick to the sides of xylem vessels, adhesion. Okay, so what is cohesion and adhesion? Cohesion means joining together and adhesion means sticking. Like we know glue sticks, right? If Fevicol and all, they are adhesives, so they stick. Like that, these water molecules stick to the xylem vessels, right? So we already read this paragraph. Xylem tissues are in the form of capillary tubes. So here it is said, the narrower, more narrow is the xylem body or the xylem capillary, more is the movement of water molecules. Okay, narrow passage means more movement of water molecules. The conduction is more, right? So force acts here, which is known as capillary force, which helps in the rising of water molecule, right? All the forces here, that is the root pressure helps the sap to move upward, right? And the capillary force, the transpirational pull, all these forces help the water molecules to move to the upward direction of the plant body. Okay. Now we will discuss the factors affecting the rate of transpiration. Okay, till now, if you have any doubt, you can ask me. Feel free to ask your doubt. I'm here to explain. Again, I'll explain. Okay, we have time to complete this chapter. This is almost about to end. Yes. Yes, what happened?
Ma'am, you have given that assignment. How we have to do?
Which assignment?
In model app.
Yeah, in Moodle, I gave you difference between xylem and phloem, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so you have to just write it in your notebook. The difference, it's in your book also. You can make it in your own language also if you understand better. Then you have to write it in a table manner, which is given in your book, and then you have to upload it, right? Any doubts?
Ma'am, one thing also is there.
What else I have given you? I remember only xylem and phloem differences. What else I have given? Do anyone remember?
And osmosis differentiate.
Ah, yes, yes. Difference between osmosis and diffusion. So I told you what is the difference. Can you tell me the difference? There is only one basic difference between them.
Diffusion
Osmosis means,
requires semi-permeable membrane and osmosis requires semi-permeable membrane.
yes, very good, Niyati, very good. So in diffusion, both the definitions are same. In diffusion, the water molecules move from higher concentration to lower concentration, right? But in osmosis, same thing. The water molecules move from higher concentration to a lower concentration, but through a semi-permeable membrane. Permeability acts there, right? Permeability is very applicable there. So in osmosis, the water molecules move from the higher concentration to lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. That's the difference. So you have to write and copy, and then you have to upload it on Moodle, right? So if you have any doubt regarding this, you can ask me. Is it clear to you all what you have to do? Difference between xylem and phloem and difference between diffusion and osmosis. That's it. And for xylem and phloem, you can write 4 differences, maximum 4 differences. Any doubts? Okay. Any doubts? Rishi, Astha, any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
No, ma'am.
Yes, try to do the
No, ma'am.
possible. Yes. So try to do the exercise which I have given you as soon as possible. Okay, and then upload it on Moodle. Now we will discuss the factors affecting the rate of transpiration. So we have 5 minutes more. We will just discuss the factors once. The following main factors affect the rate of transpiration. So we already know what is transpiration, the loss of water from the aerial parts of the plant body. In the form of what? In the form of water vapor. You have seen, for example, take our body as an example. We sweat, right? And especially during summer seasons, we used to sweat, right? So our sweat, how does it like go away in the atmosphere? It actually evaporates, right? Due to the excess amount of heat, our sweat get evaporated into the atmosphere. So similarly, this plant body, when they absorb excess amount of water, they need to throw the excess amount outside. So they require sunlight. The basic ingredient or the basic necessity is sunlight. Through that heat, which comes from the sunlight, these water molecules will eventually be out of the plant body in the form of vapors. So sunlight is the first necessity. During daytime, the rate of transpiration is faster. This is because the stomata remain open or allow the inward diffusion of carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. During night time, the stomata remain closed and hence transpiration hardly occurs. So we know that during daytime, sunlight is more. During night, there is no sunlight. So during daytime, when sunlight is there, transpiration is more. The rate of transpiration is more during daytime. Why? Because in daytime, the pores of the stomata, they remain open for faster transpiration. They remain open. But during night time, the stomata pores are closed. They close their stomata during night time, and thus transpiration hardly occurs. Okay, it may occur or may not. It hardly occurs. So during daytime, you have to remember this. During daytime, the rate of transpiration is faster as compared to the night time, right? So first necessity is sunlight. Second one is temperature. Transpiration is faster on hot summer days due to faster evaporation of water. So I already told you, due to the heat of sun, these water molecules they get outside the body of plant body. Okay, transpiration is faster on hot summer days due to faster evaporation of water. So when the sunlight is more, when the hotness is more, transpiration is in faster rate, right? Because due to faster evaporation of water, water is evaporated very fastly when during hot summer days. So the rate of transpiration is faster when temperature is more. So one basic necessity is also temperature. Temperature is also required in transpiration. Okay, this is applicable. What all are applicable? Sunlight, temperature. Now the third one is wind. Transpiration is more when the wind is blowing faster as water vapor moves away faster from the surface of leaves. So if you have seen a plant during windy season, when wind blows in a higher rate, the water molecules, they eventually blow away, right? These the wind, when these wind are faster, they blow away the water molecules from the surface of the plant body, right? From the leaves. Okay, wind is very fast. If the wind is very fast, they can blow a person too, right? Like we also feel a, a, a pull in ourselves when wind strikes us, right? So similarly, the water molecules, they are pulled or they are thrown away from the leaf surface through the wind, through this wind. So when the wind is more, the transpiration is also more. It will be faster. If the wind is there, wind is passing, then these wind will take away the water molecules in a faster rate, right? So wind is also applicable. Wind is also a basic necessity for transpiration. Fourth is humidity. Okay, humidity. Transpiration is reduced if the air is humid. Air cannot hold any water molecules when it is already laden with moisture or humidity. So humidity means moisture. Moisture in the environment or atmosphere is known as humidity. So basically what happens in humidity, the water molecules are already more, right? Moisture means more water. So during humid season or when humidity is more, transpiration is reduced. Okay, because already more water molecules are present because of the humid nature. So the transpiration is reduced and the water inside the plant body is increasing due to the humidity. It is not it is not thrown away. So basically sunlight, temperature and wind, they increase the rate of transpiration, right? But humidity, they decrease the rate of transpiration. You understood the difference? In humidity,
Yes,
the water molecules, yes. So in humidity, the water molecules are more already, they are more in the plant. So it eventually increase the water more, right? It will not decrease. So the rate of transpiration eventually decreases. The water molecules will not go away. Okay, that's it. That's it about that much is enough for factors affecting the rate of transpiration. There are 4 factors: sunlight, temperature, wind, and humidity. So this much is enough for today. So our time is over. If you have any doubt, you can ask me right now. The other topic we'll discuss in the next class. Okay, only 2 pages are left. We'll discuss in the next class. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Any doubts?
ma'am.
Oh, ma'am.
Yes. What you said, Niyati? Can you repeat?
Ma'am, I said
Ma'am, which one we had underlined? That one we have to write in notebook.
Oh, what thing? This one?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
No, I'll give you separate assignment for that. You need not write this in notebook. You just underline in your books. Okay, in notebook you have to write your questions which are on the way, the last questions. Right? I'll tell you when to do it. Okay, I'll update you.
Okay,
Fine.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
If you have no doubt, you can leave the meeting, or if you have the other class, you can wait here.